welcome to the Baptist Health 200 for the NASCAR Truck Series here at Homestead, Miami. 134 laps ahead of us round Homestead, Miami. Let's join Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski in the commentary booth for a drivers-only broadcast. No professional broadcasters, drivers only. This is going to be fun. I hope you guys enjoy. Let's throw over to them now.
And yeah, he ruffles some feathers every now and again.
Do you think he can win tonight?
That's a good question. I think he can. I think the Nice trucks have been pretty good. I think this is a good track for Ross, and he's gonna hold him honest for sure.
Well, we're about to find out, and I think Ross Chastain, Kyle Larson, Tanner Gray, but they're all going to be chasing that 11 truck of Corey Heim to the green flag on the pole and has been on a roll over the last few weeks. Let's go down for the command.
Homestead, Miami Speedway. Give a big NASCAR welcome to Ken Spell. He is the Chief Executive Officer of Baptist Health Homestead Hospital. But tonight he is our Grand Marshal, ready to say the most famous words in motorsports. Take it away, Ken.
Drivers, start your engines!
They've got them fired up, and we're about to see how this show goes down. Can't wait to see all the action here in Homestead.
As they go on to an ad break, I will be taking you through these ad breaks as we are definitely checking out mic levels, as it's all different today as Premier Sports, the international feed, are not they're not broadcasting it, our Premier Sports, here in the UK, so we are having to take it directly from the Fox broadcast that we have as well. So I will try my best to talk you through the ad breaks. I'm doing a little bit of a Tom Gamer here, but Corey Heim on pole in the number 11 truck. Then it's Tanner Gray in the 15. Kyle Larson in the 07. A little bit further behind on the second row. As I said a little bit earlier on in the opening of the show, 134 laps ahead of us and split into 3 stages, and those 3 stages are 30 laps stage 1, 30 laps stage 2, and a big stage 3 of 74 laps. 5 sets of tyres for the NASCAR Cup Series teams today, and if you look at the thumbnail, you can see that the spotters are going to have an absolute nightmare. JBMotorsports thought it would be quite funny and a good idea to do 3 identical cars. The only difference is the numbers on the car. No visual identifiers other than the numbers, exact same numbers, style, exact same colours, exact same everything. Green flag is in around 6 minutes time, 8:21 Eastern, 21 minutes past midnight here in the UK. Getting ready to join back with the boys in the booth. Let's go back over now.
All season long.
The number 1 driver in most all categories is Corey Heim.
Mr. Heim time, been so impressive.
Corey Heim going to victory lane, just an impressive young racer, and wow.
Awesome, yes!
What this young man is doing in that 11 truck is lights out.
We'll be racing on Sunday full time before long.
Well, it's been Heim time several times during this year, but what do you say we dial him up, Brad?
Oh, now it's time to talk to Mr. Heim time himself, Corey Heim. How about it, Corey? Brad Keselowski in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. Gotcha.
Wow, man, you've been in the man in command. We just got done watching your highlight video, winning races, kind of taking control of this NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. But this race looks a little different. You got some of the Cup regulars jumping down to give you a big challenge. And what we all want to know is, how are you going to fight off Kyle Larson to win tonight?
Yeah, no doubt about it. He's going to be tough. You know, he's definitely made a name for himself around the fence here, and us truckers don't get up there too much. It's such a big risk to knock the right side in. So I expect to have to fend him off at some point tonight, if not to start the race. So going to have to be adaptable and make sure we stay good all night. But he's going to track on for this fast tundra. I feel like we got a good shot tonight.
Well, we can't wait to watch it. It's been a great season for you so far. Congratulations on all your success.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Well, we know that he's going to have a challenger in Kyle Larson, and I think when you look at this racetrack, there isn't anybody better. Let's dial him up, Joey.
Sure. Kyle Larson, Joey Logano up in the Fox booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, we just got done talking to Corey Heim. He said it's Heim time, and his truck is fast like usual, and you should get used to looking at the back of his bumper. What do you have to say to that?
I feel like you... I mean, I don't know, I didn't hear it, but I feel like it's bending the truth maybe a little bit there. But, he does have a fast truck, as he always does. But I feel like our truck's good as well, so we'll see. I think, you know, it'll be a fun race between us two, as well as I'm sure there'll be some other guys that, you know, show their face throughout the race. So, yeah, just have a good time tonight. Thanks, Fire, for, you know, building this truck for me. Thanks to Mr. H and HinderCars.com for let me have, you know, some fun this weekend.
Well, we're looking forward. And yes, I did make that up, so don't worry about that. But we're looking forward to watching you run the high side. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks.
Let's take a look at the Craftsman starting grid. Row 1, we've got our pole sitter, and we've talked about Heim time, Corey Heim, and Tanner Gray.
And then in row 2, we just talked to him, Kyle Larson alongside with Lane Riggs, another truck that we expect to be fast tonight.
Row 3, Gio Ruggiero, who is the rookie who finished second at Daytona, and Tyler Ankrum finished runner-up here in 2020, had a great week in Las Vegas last week.
We'll roll back through the rest of the field, and you see Ross Chastain right there on row 4, and what we thought was one of the best trucks in practice, that one truck of Brandon Jones.
Absolutely. Ty Majeski, really fast last week. Look for him to be good again.
Dawson Sutton there in row 9. Matt Crafton, former series champion.
I'm looking at this back of the field here. Frankie, Tony, doing their best, trying to make a name in this series. Hasn't gone great for them so far. This is their chance to turn their season around.
Well, let's send it down to our pit reporters and see if they're actually going to do anything tonight. But Austin, start us off, man. What do you got?
Well, probably not all the comfort and amenities you have up in the booth, but we're going to start it off right here. You guys talked about Corey Heim, Kyle Larson. The guy I want to look at is the second-year driver, Lane Riggs. Qualified 4th, led a lot of laps here as a rookie. I talked to him during driver intros. He was really confident, liked his truck in practice, liked the way the nighttime is going to affect his stuff, and he's got an onboard camera, so should be a lot of fun to watch him and the other guys dice it up. Carson, what you got down there?
Yeah, I'm down here at Grant Enfinger's pit. A lot of confidence. They want to show their face tonight. Won this race last year. They feel really good about their truck. I talked to Jeff Stakowitz, and he says that they're a little bit different for the nighttime, but feels really good about it. They felt good on practice on their long run, so it's going to be fun to watch Grant Enfinger. Always a competitive guy, but always seems to find himself late in the race, takes care of his stuff, and finds time to be there when it matters. So be on the lookout for him. Going to be a fun race anyways. I'm happy to be down here. Back to you guys up in the booth.
Well, great job, guys. Way to start us off on the right foot there. I felt like that was a great first report. Although it wasn't as good as the weather. The weather down here is 66 degrees, calm winds, clear skies. But we've been dealing with several things over the past few days. First responders responded to brush fires in the vicinity of the track. And we want to thank them for all their efforts of responding with their fire personnel. The brush fire did not pose a direct threat to the speedway. And we're very thankful to all the efforts of the responding agencies to protect the property and people in the area to have us race tonight. So what an amazing few days it has been down here, and
thank goodness for those first responders.
Yes, those first responders.
Great work.
They have done a great job.
Well, let's take a look at the race analysis that the first responders saved for us here. 134 laps. There'll be 201 quick miles around this 1.5-mile racetrack. A couple stages tonight, both of them 30 laps. In the final stage, the longer one, 74 laps. Our pit window is 50 to 55 laps on fuel. I wouldn't really worry about the fuels tonight as much as I would the tires. The tire strategy is going to be the name of the game.
Well, that brings us to the track analysis, Joey. And the first part of the track analysis is this track is starting to age. The pavement's about 22 years old, but it's 1.5 miles in length, 18 to 20 degree banking in the turns, 4 degrees down the straightaway. Very symmetrical track. As you see, the front stretch, the back stretch, the same length, and you can run anywhere on this track. Progressive banking in the corners, a little bit flatter on the lower lane, more banking as you go up. Helps the trucks go faster as they go a longer distance.
Well, we want to thank Craftsman for that track description. Let's take a look at some of our in-truck cameras. We got the HendrickCars.com on the 07 of Kyle Larson.
Oh, I can't wait for this camera.
Oh,
it's riding up against the wall. This is awesome.
We've got the Celsius camera from Tony Breidinger. And the 34 with the Ford Performance Cam of Lane Riggs. I think he'll be in the game tonight too. I think he's been pretty solid all year.
He's been solid. I think they're looking for just a calm race. It seems like he's had to fight through adversity all year long. I think a normal race would be good for him.
We've got a little radio chatter from Tanner Gray.
Sorry, buddy. This place ain't Darlington, but it's a lot like Darlington. You just race the place. It'll come to us. So just do your thing, buddy. Be disciplined. Take what it'll give you, and we'll keep working on it all night and have you in a good spot at the end of the night. Yeah, it's important.
Yeah, and I think that's great advice. I think that you can get yourself in trouble really quick here, especially if somebody like Larson pushes the limit and starts making speed up next to the fence. That's going to force these guys to have to do something that's out of their comfort zone.
Make them more aggressive than they want to be. Interesting that the leader picked the bottom lane, Corey Heim. He's going to control the start.
Well, Corey Heim is bringing him down for the green flag with his teammate Tanner Gray right beside him. And we're green here in Homestead, Miami.
Ooh, a lot of wheel spin on that top lane there. Already 3 wide, 4 wide.
Ross Chastain, just like we were saying, lap 1, corner 1. Oh,
wow.
We're gonna have a crash.
Lock it down, lock it down, lock it down.
Ben Rhodes is in this one as well.
17 of Gio Ruggiero.
First lap, first corner. That is tough.
Yeah, that is tough.
That's a lot of damage here on Ben Rhodes' 99 truck there.
And these trucks are very sensitive to damage. The aerodynamics are so important, particularly on the front fenders. Ooh, he's going to have a long night.
And that's the case right there. These guys all know how important it is to get going on those restarts. And one guy makes it, another guy makes it, and then all of a sudden it puts 10 guys in a bad spot.
Yeah, can't wait to see the replay on this. Looked like there was a checkup towards the front that brought everybody 4 wide, and then it just stacked up when they got to turn 1 here.
Yeah, I think some of it starts here on the outside lane. You see the 15 truck. Watch when he hits the gas. He starts to spin his tires and it'll stack up. Same thing happens with G.
15, 34, 44, 18, 71, 9, 98, 1.
From the truck above him and lost the back. There's a lot going on right there.
Yeah, just ran out of space there.
Yep.
You see, Ross is down there on the bottom, everyone kind of runs out of space. I mean, they're 4 wide. And yeah, you're right. When you're thinking this at home right now, golly, it's the first lap.
Yep.
You're right.
Yes. We got an onboard here, I think from Tony Breidinger.
That's right.
Might give us a great view of this as well. Great slow-mo camera work here by the Fox team.
Yeah, I used to call this one of those lap 0 crashes, Joey.
Yeah.
We didn't even make it to the second corner.
And I know, I mean, listen, we've all been inside these race cars or trucks before. As we see Tony try to get herself through this wreck here. Seems fine. But, you know, when it's game time, it's time to go. Like, you want to go make those passes as quickly as you can and try to set yourself up for what could have been maybe a long run. But now it's obviously going to be a shorter run to the stage 2.
Well, not the way that we thought this race was going to start, but unfortunately, lots of damage for several trucks.
Gotta have a lucky charm when you ride.
Yeah, well, roll and green light.
Pit road open then here in Miami. Didn't even get onto the backstretch before the caution got thrown.
How's 1 and 2 looking there? 1 and 2 are ready, power.
That's the officials radio, which we will be hearing in between the cautions. Quicker yellow, this one has been signalled as it came out on lap 1. No lapped cars or anything to deal with. That's why it is a quicker yellow. 132 laps to go.
Pick up your pace. Pick up your pace. We'll keep you around the outside wall. We'll get you back into your cutout.
It's currently Heim, Larson, Tanner Gray, Lane Riggs, Ross Chastain, Tyler Ankrum, Carruth, Enfinger, Majeski, and Brandon Jones, your top 10. 28 to go in, now 27 to go in this stage. We are 12 seconds away from being underway for 5 minutes. And we've got an amazing average speed of 44.987 miles per hour, which you can see now on the screen with the laps and rundown with all the different leaders and cars information. No one gone behind the wall yet. That's interesting. But because of the incidents, we've got 2 cars that are not on the lead lap, and those are the 2 cars that were involved. Trucks 17 and 99 were the 2 trucks involved in that one. Let's go back to the boys in the booth.
Much better than winning a championship, and the 3 of us are fortunate to be able to have stood down there in victory lane on the night after our championship, and there's just no moment like it.
Oh yeah, Homestead, Miami, great track, beautiful time of year to be here, whether it's the spring or the fall, and winning the championship here. I just still have the chills of, you know, kind of standing out there and smelling the salt from the ocean and the breeze, the Florida breeze. Just incredible night for all of us.
Yeah, it's definitely a special night. I mean, championships are what we all fight for, right? That's like the pinnacle of the sport when you get to the cup level, to win that and to achieve that accomplishment and celebrate on the start-finish line here. And seeing, to me, the most special moment all the time is when you see your family, you see your team for the first time when you get out of the car. Because when you're in a race car, you're by yourself in there a lot of times. So it's all the time, actually. But you have a radio at least. But when you finally get out and get to see everybody, that's what makes all the effort worth it.
Did you drink any beer that night?
Just 1 or 2.
Okay, I couldn't remember it.
I think you might have as well.
I did.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact number, but we had Budweiser as a sponsor. You had the beer sponsor as well. But we drank an unbelievable amount of cases of beer that night. There was beer everywhere.
Good memories were had.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were forgot.
All right, let's take another look at this wreck. What do you guys see here?
Well, when we were in break here, I had a chance to look at this a little bit further, Kevin, and what stood out to me was the 18 truck you're going to see right on the top right here, Tyler Ankrum. I don't think he knew there were 4 wide. Clearly, there's more lanes available at the top. It comes down a little bit on the 9. The 17, Gio here, he just had nowhere to go. But Ross Chastain, very aggressive move. Everything we talked about in the pre-race. High risk move, high reward. He gets through this without being crashed, but not everybody else did.
Yeah, and by no means I think we're placing any blame on Tyler Ankrum in the 18 truck. He's just going into the corner. He's thinking he's 2 wide, maybe 3 wide. I don't think he's expecting to be 4 wide. I know there's spotters on the roof, but that's a kind of a late moment as everyone kind of fanned into the corner. It looked like racing to me.
Yep. It's tough
part of it. Well, UFL Week 1 kickoff. Spring football is back with the UFL kickoff weekend starting next Friday as St. Louis takes on Houston at 8 p.m. Eastern. Then next Saturday, it's San Antonio versus Arlington, 4 Eastern, all on Fox. All right, it looks like we're coming back to 1 to go this time. So you think there'll be any calmer this time around, or you think we'll see the same thing?
I mean, after that, it's hard calling, but I don't think it'll be much calmer.
What's interesting?
Ross is closer to the front, so that might calm it down a little bit.
What was interesting to me, Joey, that you called out right away on the start was the outside lane just didn't launch very hard. You know, this track, we're on a Friday on a race weekend, which means all the series haven't been on the track. The track doesn't have a lot of rubber kind of ground in the surface that you would get from all 3 series being here. And it's pretty slick. And we're seeing that on the restart. So it'll be interesting to see, to me, with Kyle Larson now being on the front row, if he'll be able to get that traction on the launch.
And that's a solid point, because now, as abrasive as this racetrack is, they do have, a lap, not a corner, right, on their tires, but they're idling around here, and it creates a little bit of wear. They're going to have less grip this time than they did the first time. So, but you also have, Larson, who's very experienced, used to not having much grip on dirt a lot of times. He's probably going to be fine.
We saw a lot of tire wear in practice. From the driver's perspective, do you think that gets better, worse? Are they worried about it? What are they thinking? I mean, we saw several tires have some issues.
Well, typically as the race goes along, it gets better, right? Because you got to think of the racetrack, when it's green, that means there's no rubber packed into the track. It's very abrasive. But as there's rubber that gets laid down, it kind of fills in all those little nooks and crannies in the racetrack, right? It makes it really smooth, and it makes the tire wear less. But the first run is probably going to be the most aggressive. Carson?
Yeah, guys, I'm down here at the Ben Rhodes camp. A lot of damage. Car went from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock with that steering wheel, had a bad vibration, down a set of tires, had to put 4 on it to see what was all wrong. So not only is it going to have damage, but going to be down a set the rest of the night. Obviously, a lot of damage. It's going to be a tough feat and a long road ahead for Ben Rhodes in the 99 camp.
Yeah, when he says the steering wheel, like if you're holding your hand straight like you're driving down the highway, all of a sudden when the front end gets knocked out of alignment, now his hands are like at 3 o'clock, in other words. So it's, the front end's probably not aligned as good as it needs to be, which also induces tire wear.
Yeah, and they have an extra set of tires compared to what they had last year. So he still had to use one up. No matter how many sets of tires you get here at Homestead, you're always going to be...
Not enough.
You're always not going to have enough. Well, they're coming to the green one more time. Second time tonight. Let's see if we can make it past turn 2 this time. Corey Heim, Kyle Larson. Green's out. Let's try this one more time.
Another great launch from the bottom lane. You can just see there's a lot more grip up or down there compared to the top.
You see it. They're still going 3 wide. I don't see 4 wide this time. It's always such a great shot going down the back straight. A lot of moves, and then this is where you got a lot of options, right? You go down to turn 3 here. You can go to the very bottom. You see some trucks way up top.
You see Ross Chastain in the middle there again, still being very aggressive. He's worked his way.
And Larson trying to get the lead already on Corey Heim.
Well, I think this is going to be a great night for Corey Heim to have somebody up there like Kyle Larson. He is going to side draft him off the corner right there, but he is going to push Corey Heim to do things tonight that he hasn't had to do many times in his career.
He's pushing him right now, Kevin, down the straightaway.
You've seen right there, Corey Heim drove into the corner, washed him up, and look at Larson. He's like, yeah, you're going to have to block higher if you're going to do that. Watch that lead early here.
I think he's going to get it right here, too, guys.
I'm sure Larson appreciated him squeezing him up off of turn 2 there.
And here comes Ross Chastain. He's going to try to fill the middle again.
Oh, what a crossover. Tries to get to the left side of Corey Heim.
Yeah, and you saw the 07 there of Kyle Larson cross the wake of the front of the Ross Chastain truck, and that truck take off up the racetrack.
Aerodynamics so important in all NASCAR series, but this truck series, They go through the corner so fast that you need that air to help assist you get around it.
The other thing that happens on these trucks is it becomes really hard to pass. We see that at Daytona and Talladega in the Cup cars, but the side draft in these trucks is massive.
Oh, slide job here by Kyle Larson. Drove it into the corner harder than he could hold his lane. He's relying on that air to give him the block.
Man, this is fun to watch. Corey Heim crosses him over. Here comes Ross with the draft. You know he's going right down the middle here.
Oh, he tried to, but Corey Heim's going to slide job back on Kyle Larson.
Larson's going to try to turn it back down. This is some fun racing by 3 great drivers. And I think something that happens here, Kevin, is you know, you got more opportunity to pass while you're on new tires. And as the run goes, the top side of this racetrack is going to become more and more dominant. And once all the trucks are running the top, it's more challenging to make those passes. So I think that's why you see these drivers so early in this run being aggressive, trying to gain that position so they can kind of take control of the race.
Well, the other thing is this is a really short stage. We had those cautions early. We're coming to lap 11 right here. So this is to finish lap 11. So this is definitely a really, really short stage. So it allows these guys to really get after it.
Yeah, only a 30-lap stage.
Yeah, you can definitely burn your tires up here and get away with it. Great racing all the way through the field. And this battle.
You're clear.
Looks like Kyle's got him for real this time. What do you think?
I don't know. Look at that run down the back straightaway.
And a great battle for 3rd and 4th as well. We've got battles all over the track. Lane Riggs is starting to pick up some speed in his truck and drive himself to the front.
Yeah, I say Larson being able to make that speed around the top there. You've seen him come off of turn 4 in that 07 truck. He's going to carry that speed now. It's going to be hard for Corey Heim to make the move on the bottom now as tires, like we said, start to wear some.
What's the advantage as we go into turns 3 and 4 here with the leaders? What's the advantage to running that top line like Kyle is doing? To me, it's obvious that it should save the tires. Is that how you think it will go in this truck?
Well, I think there's 2 different things. Because look how high Larson runs. What's going on there is all the air, he's going really fast through the corner, right? All the air that's coming off the right side of that truck is getting sandwiched, right? It's getting smushed up against the wall. And it's bouncing back onto the side of his truck, creating more downforce and side force, making his truck handle better. Doesn't seem like they need it down in 1 and 2. Seems like there's always a little bit more grip down there, but 3 and 4 is always just, it feels like ice. Ice in Miami is what it feels like to me.
You see Kyle Larson has won 2 of his last 4 truck races. He's going for 3 for 5, and he's got a great shot today.
Yeah, you see Enfinger going by Chandler Smith there.
The 13th.
Ty Majeski, he's gone from 10th to 5th. So definitely a truck going forward as this race takes place. Former winner here.
Don't count him out, last year's champion.
And last week in Las Vegas, Ty Majeski's truck early in the race was so fast. Definitely the best truck on the racetrack. Got damaged throughout the race and really cost him what I think a win with the best truck.
Yeah, and the thing about Ty Majeski and his team, I just feel like Ty does such a great job of managing the races. I feel like through the last few years, he's definitely just gotten better and better each year. Heck of a super late model racer. I think he'll be at Pensacola at Five Flags Speedway this weekend, racing that super late model race. Well, as we watch Ty Majeski make his way forward, Kyle Larson still leads. We'll be back, and you won't miss anything side by side.
15 to go here in stage 1 at Homestead Miami Speedway. Here is the full laps and rundown screen just to keep you guys all updated with all of the information. As currently Larson, Heim, Riggs, Chastain, as Riggs overtakes Heim for 2nd place. Riggs up to 2nd, Heim not letting it go, fighting back down the inside as they go down the backstretch in the slipstream in towards turn 3 we go, and Riggs gets ahead once more as they have a lapped car down on the inside. That is the 67 as well. Back to the timings battle screen. We have multiple screens for you today. Ben Rhodes still down in 29th place after the incident. which happened on lap 1, turn 2, which Ben Rhodes got involved in. Larson out in front by 1.2 seconds now. And down the inside, that is Stuart Friesen down the inside of the number 1. Of course, the number 1 in this one being Brandon Jones. This is for 9th and 10th. Friesen in 9th, Jones in 10th. Through turns 1 and 2 they go now. A lot of cars taking the high line. Only the lapped cars on the low line keeping out of the way as they cross the strip on the front stretch. One more time. And it's Brandon Jones still trying to get ahead of Stuart Friesen. We cut to the number 98. And that number 98 is, of course, Tyler Jeske, who is in 4th. That was the interesting battle for 4th we saw, but Ross Chastain has now caught up to him. Ross Chastain in the slipstream, down in towards turn 1. Will he pull down low? Yes, he will. Tries to go up the inside, isn't able to. He goes up to the high side, does Ross Chastain. He fades back, but let's go back to the boys in the booth.
A lot of great racing action there as we were in the break. Kyle Larson still leading, starting to drive away. Lane Riggs, his truck has continued to go forward, but Corey Heim, he's figured something out there on the bottom of the racetrack to make up a little ground. Austin, what do you have?
Well, I think Lane Riggs had a lot of confidence going into this race, and he's really showing it with the speed in that Ford F-150. You know, he's been able to run a lot of times just as fast as Kyle Larson, and I think it's going to show off. I think there's a lot of movers through the field right now.
Yeah, Lane Riggs has been doing a good job going forward. I actually thought Corey Heim was going to start fading back a little bit, but it looks like he's gone to all the way to the bottom of the racetrack on both ends, and it's actually picked his truck up well. For me, I always thought as the tires wore out, you couldn't go back to the bottom, but that's not the case with that 11.
He's definitely found some speed down there, Kevin, and he's been able to keep right up with Lane, who I feel like Lane Riggs has been just as fast as Kyle Larson when he can get some clean laps where he doesn't have Corey next to him. And you see now what did Lane did? He moved down to the bottom of turns 1 and 2 here to see if he can't find some of that speed as well.
Well, there's 2 reasons for doing that for Lane Riggs. One, he sees a faster truck behind him in a position that may pass him if he doesn't change it up. But 2, he's thinking, I can put dirty air on him, right? It's a big weight that comes off the back of these trucks. And, you know, as a race car driver, you're looking for clean air. That's what creates the downforce. That's what creates the grip. And if you can put that dirty air on the truck behind you that's faster than you, you're really going to stunt his progress to be able to move forward.
And it paid off that last lap, 0.2 of a second faster than Corey Heim behind him.
Yeah, you see that 45 of Caden Honeycutt right there. And one of the trucks that we thought was one of the best trucks in practice was that one truck right there, Brandon Jones in the Kingsford Toyota there. He had just some absolutely blistering lap times, so he's definitely found some handling issues with his truck from when we went from day to night. So it looks like they need to make some adjustments to that truck to get it back to where it was.
And how many times does that happen here in Miami, where you practice during the day and there's always a truck that looks like, man, that truck is lights out. He's going to kick everyone's butt, no contest. The race starts and you're like, huh, that's pretty average. Like,
where'd he go?
Yeah.
Practice speed versus game speed, always a little different.
And I always found, he was in the first practice group today. I always found it a little bit confusing when you went out on a green racetrack here, especially because of the fact that you know, it was always hard to get a read because the track was so much faster. But Lane Riggs has run the leader back down.
0.4 of a second faster that last lap. It seems like when he moved down to the bottom of 1 and 2, he really picked up. The preferred groove seems to be bottom of 1 and 2, top of 3 and 4. And I think you see Kyle Larson's truck is really dancing, getting loose up off the corner.
Yeah, and that might have been what happened, right? You saw how hard all these guys were racing to start, and now their tires are worn out. You see Kyle Larson, who was sideways, and here's the top 3 all back under, you know, a couple tenths of a second of distance there.
Yeah, and you see Kyle Larson, he's walking his truck. That was a close call right there with Corey Heim sliding up in front of the 34 truck of Lane Riggs. Larson's truck looked like the back. He's lost the back of his truck.
Rear grip has really fallen off, and he just can't push the gas pedal down. It's hard to make that truck go fast when you're not using the engine to its fullest.
I'm so intrigued with the 11 truck of Corey Heim because he just all of a sudden has decided to drive back forward.
Yeah, he's turned it right back on. You know, I thought, just like you, Kevin, that when he started fading, got passed by the 34, that that was maybe the end of his night, at least the end of the stage. But, man, he looks really good right here.
And the speed difference, right? When you talk about the amount of time, right? Their fast laps, 32.70s was their fast lap. They're down to, basically 35.0s at this point. So they've dropped off quite a bit of lap time, and it really changes the truck. And you kind of watch them go through the corner. It looks like they're going a little bit slow, to be honest with you, because they're just got no grip. They're sliding around. We talked about tire wear being the most aggressive because the rubber's not packed in the racetrack the first run of the race. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. And it's going to be a good battle as we come to 2 to go at the end of the stage.
Yeah, and you see that debris right there on the bottom of Kyle Larson's grill. So definitely picked up some debris right there.
Perhaps going to try to turn underneath him right here and get a side draft down the back straightaway. Might be able to do it right here, guys. He's close enough. There he is. He gets to his quarter panel. He's going to use that air to draft him and hold him steady. And here comes Lane. He's going to drive all the way to the bottom. Oh, he misses the bottom. He's going to have to pull a slide job here.
Yeah, he drove in there a mile, but it worked out for him. Drove up the hill and was able to clear Kyle Larson coming to the last lap of this first stage. Corey Heim has led in all 4 races this season, and tonight it's only been 2 leaders so far. Kyle Larson and Corey Heim has kind of taken control here at the end of this stage.
Larson's not ready to give it up all the way down to the bottom.
It's going to be really hard for him to get momentum off the, that top lane carries a lot of momentum.
Larson's truck definitely faded there at the end. I feel like he lost his rear grip.
And you see Larson, he wanted the bottom there. He kind of favored to the bottom. He could have blocked either the top or the bottom. He chose the bottom, gave Lane Riggs the top, and they're going to race side by side to the end of the stage.
And Corey Heim is going to win stage 1 here in Miami.
Close battle.
Larson got him.
That's Corey Heim's first stage win this year. He's won everything else. He's won a pole, won a couple races, and apparently it's still Heim time, fellas.
I guess.
We'll come back and find out if Corey Heim can keep it going.
Corey Heim wins stage 1 here at Homestead, Miami for the Baptist Health 200. Let's go through the top 10 at least of the end of stage 1. It's Corey Heim, Kyle Larson, Lane Riggs in the 34 truck rounds out the top 3. Then in 4th it's the 98 truck of Ty Majeski. 76 is the free pass I've just got, and that is Spencer Boyd in 29th place. Back to the classification. Ross Chastain in 5th, Tyler Ankrum in 6th, Daniel Hemrick in 7th, Stuart Friesen in 8th, Caden Honeycutt in 9th, Chandler Smith rounds out the top 10. Then it's Grant Enfinger in the 9 truck in 11th, Brandon Jones in the 1, Tanner Gray in the 15 truck in 13th. Then it's Corey Day in 14th, Matt Crafton in 15th, Caruth 16th, Garcia 17th, Mills 18th, Mosak 19th, and Parsons rounds out the top 20 in the 20 truck. Under caution then for the first stage break of the day. Another 30 lap stage ahead of us, but we are already ticking those laps down, of course, under caution, so it'll be possibly a shorter stage than stage 1, depending on how long this caution is compared to the caution that we had on lap 1. And I can tell you the caution that we had from lap 2 to lap 6 was 5 laps long. So if this one is longer than 5 laps long, we'll have a shorter stage 2 than a shorter stage 1. We've had 2 leaders in this race, and those 2 leaders are the 07 of Carl Larson. He's led twice for a total of 18 laps, and the 11 of Corey Heim, he's led 3 times for a total laps led of 14. 1 car behind the wall, that is the number 2 truck, and lead changes, it was the 11 from the start to lap 6, then it was the 07 truck on lap 7, then the 11 truck from laps 8 to 11, and then the 07 from lap 12 to lap 28, and then the 11 truck from lap 29 to now. Let's go back down to Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, and in the pits, it's Austin Cindric and Carson Host for our Pit Road Open.
Yeah, I mean, other than 4 years of age, everything else looks pretty similar. We tried to get their reach, but the PR folks couldn't read a tape measure, so we got the basics here.
Hey,
Austin, what do you got?
I have a problem with this. We don't know who took those measurements.
Oh, really?
With a 1-inch difference? I mean, come on. I mean, it all depends. Where are you measuring from? Like, what shoes are we wearing? You know, I feel like this needs to be a much more refined process. It just looks like I'm shorter and fatter than Carson.
I think he wants to wait in.
Listen, those are the measurements that came from your PR department.
Austin, I think it was just the hair difference, honestly. I think that was it.
I was going to say a hat.
Maybe.
Carson wears a lot of hats. He used to wear a lot of hats.
I'm staying out of this one, guys.
I feel like we're digging a hole.
Yeah.
I feel like we could dig a deeper hole if we really
wanted to.
Yeah.
But, you know, they are about to open up pit road, and this is going to be an important part of the race. I don't want to miss this part of the race because I feel like the race might be won or lost based off of what we've seen, because all these trucks are pretty equally matched. So pit road's going to be really, really important tonight, and we're about to see our first round of pit stops.
Well, all these pit stalls were selected from last week's qualifying session. This week's qualifying session sets next week's pick. And here we go for our first round of pit stops of the night. Carson?
Yeah, guys, Ty Majeski in that 98 machine was out of a wedge adjustment, so Joe Shear going to make a track bar adjustment and 4 tires. Now, Kyle Larson felt really, really good on the short run, but lacked a lot of grip late in that run. They're going to go down on the track bar as well as 4 tires. Further down pit road, what do you got, Austin?
Yeah, Lane Riggs definitely joining that battle for the lead. He went in too far into his stall there, but he felt like his stroke was just too tight to contend for the lead. I think they got more in it. Meanwhile, Corey Heim, he's getting coached to save his tires at the beginning of that run. Came on super strong there. Should be nice. They need a little more lateral rear grip.
Right back on the pit road. Looks like Corey Heim is going to win it. Ty Majeski side by side with Kyle Larson. And the big loser in all this is going to be Lane Riggs. Look at him all the way back here. Oh.
Well, we saw Lane Riggs right here. Got into his pit box just way too far. Had to back up. Lost a ton of spots.
Yeah, absolutely. Pit stops complete. 100 laps remaining exactly here at Homestead, Miami. I've opened up the officials' radio so we can listen in to any
52,
information.
44, 45.
And there is some information coming through as well. Let's have a look at the full timing screen for you. There is the full timing screen.
And Steven confirmed that he 17 was good with the caution truck there.
As Corey Heim, as I believe we are still waiting for them to come across the line to complete all of the changes after pit road. So I won't read them out for now, just to make sure.
Pit road is closed. Pit road is closed. The 99 fire penalty, pitting too soon and too many crew members. 99 pitting too soon and too many crew members.
That's the 99 of Ben
Only
Rhodes.
one to go with the line. One to go with the line. The leader left to choose.
And not the best day for Ben Rhodes, being involved in that first lap turn 2 incident. And now getting sent to the rear of the field for pitting too soon, and too many crew members over the wall. And of course that penalty gets given with 99 laps remaining, his truck number. Just about...
76 will choose last as a free pass. Lights all around.
One to go the call. Just about to hit 1 AM here in the UK. About to hit 9 PM Eastern Time, 6 PM Pacific Time, and 2 AM Central European Time. It's a night race in the US, which means it's an early morning race for us here in the UK, and we absolutely love them, don't we? Getting ready for the choose cars coming around the circuit now. And we will be getting going with either 97 or 96 laps remaining, either 23 or 22 laps in this stage. Let's get ready to go back to the boys in the booth.
If you're like me and you like to hear Kevin Harvick preach the gospel of NASCAR, you can join him every Tuesday and Thursday for NASCAR's #1 on the charts podcast, where Kevin gives his expert opinion on the top storylines and brings the biggest names in sports and entertainment into the racing world. It's Kevin Harvick's Happy Hour, presented by Echo Park Automotive.
Kevin likes the horsepower.
I love horsepower.
I like
There is
horsepower,
nothing
too.
better than listen to just something that's got too much power, scream down the straightaway, blow the back tires off of it off the corner.
Tim Allen,
Yes.
where's listening,
Yes.
very happy to hear that.
Yes, more power.
We want power. Bring us some horsepower, please.
Good look at our stage points here. Kyle Larson and Ross Chastain aren't eligible because they compete in the Cup Series, but good start for Corey Heim, who just continues to be the show here in this NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
They have definitely got that 11 truck of Corey Himes dial in this year. But I gotta believe a little bit of an adjustment on that 07 truck is not gonna make it worse.
We also have Ty Majeski. We've seen him pretty fast, passed a lot of trucks early. Now he's starting towards the front. Let's see what he's got, too.
And in P5, Chandler Smith has quietly made his way from the back of the pack towards the front. Don't count him out.
Here we go. Stage 2, green flag.
Here they go again.
3 wide. Chandler Smith's going to go to the inside of Ty Majeski.
Oh, wow.
Ty Rainford gets squeezed up there in that orange 18. That's going to stack up the high lane. He's going to lose a lot of spots there. So the restart's going to be under review. Make sure they all stayed in lane when they were supposed to.
Yeah, that's what happens a lot of times when you get into these scenarios where you start having to be so aggressive on the restarts. You have guys that pop out too soon, and tracks that we have lines that you can go over. So many mistakes because guys just get in hurries. You see Stuart Friesen on the outside of Ty Majeski. Stewart's had a great start to the season. Put themselves in a much better position this year to get things rolling, keeping themselves up in the points, having some decent runs. As you see Larson get loose on the bottom of the racetrack, and Majeski up the hill.
Almost looked like he had to take an evasive maneuver not to hit Kyle Larson there.
I think he wanted to get over in front of Stuart Friesen and solidify that top lane, right? If you're side by side down the front straightaway, it's going to kill the momentum. The trucks behind him will get even a bigger run, but Majeski's truck fires off so good. Look at it, gets underneath Kyle Larson.
Man.
Stuart Friesen gets back to the outside of him. Incredible racing.
Another short stage here. Stage 2 is another 30 laps. So these guys, we saw these trucks fall off at the end of that run. It doesn't look to me like they've done anything different.
No.
It looks like they're just going to go hammer down again.
And these drivers are driving the wheels off it because they know they only have to go another 20 more laps on these tires, and they can abuse them and get away with it.
Yeah, and you see that 45 truck there on the bottom in the left-hand screen there of Caden Honeycutt. Always seems to find his way towards the front of the pack.
I like him. He's a smart racer, and that's really paying off for him here today, as it has a lot of races that I've watched him this year.
Something I see that happened there in the front, right? Ty Majeski was just trying to pass Kyle Larson a lap and a half ago. Wasn't able to make it happen. The outside lane, freight trains by him, and now he's back to 5th. Loses a couple spots. A little bit of risk every time you try to make a pass. And you see him just kind of fall into the clutches of the field.
Caden Honey got really loose there in turn 1.
NASCAR has said the restart is good, so we're all set with everybody with no penalties. See a massive run right there by the 19 truck of Daniel Hemrick.
Larson just bottom feeding on the bottom of the racetrack, trying to be able to get to the inside of Corey Heim. All he's trying to do is get that quarter panel, Brad. Just trying to get to it. He can dump a bunch of air onto that rear spoiler down the straightaway and allow that side draft to go into effect.
Yeah, he's just taking those little bites, like you're saying, Joey, and hoping one of them, kind of like a boxer giving little jabs, hoping that something opens up and he can get that big jab in.
And I feel like the last time Larson was able to get in there and mix it up with Heim, I feel like Heim has a better truck. It's just a matter of trying to get enough space away from him to be able to not have to mix it up and keep himself out of position. As you see Larson try to get to that left rear quarter panel again.
That's just another one of those little jabs, and he knows eventually he's going to get it too.
Carson?
Yeah, guys, you're talking about how abusing the tires. I was down here in the 9's pit box. They said how good they're going to be on the long run based off of practice. Was the exact opposite. Cording on the right front for the 9. A lot of adjustments. I talked to Jeff Stakowitz. I said, are you worried about cording? He looked at me with a smile and said, I am now.
Yeah, and they had a little bit of truck. That truck had a little problem in practice. They actually quit practice early, so he was one of those trucks that was worried about his right front tire and the cords that it had hanging out of it. As you see Daniel Hemrick go past Chandler Smith.
And look at the battle for the lead. These 4 trucks under a blanket over here. Stuart Friesen got back into 2nd place as the 2 leaders were kind of air blocking each other around the racetrack. Stuart Friesen took advantage of that opportunity, got by Larson, and here comes Majeski looking to go 3 wide in the middle. It's going to be a hard one to pull off there.
A lot of great racing here at Homestead Miami Speedway. And we'll be back to show you this battle for the lead.
A lot of great racing indeed here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Battle for the lead, and they don't go side by side, so I am blind on pictures at the moment. I will try and talk you through what is happening with the exact same timing screen you have on your screen right now. Corey Heim, Ty Majeski, Kyle Larson, Stuart Friesen drops from 3rd to 4th as Kyle Larson takes away 3rd from the 52 truck. Caden Honeycutt has come out of nowhere, by the way, up into 5th place. Must have had a good pit stop in the stage break. And caution. Still only 1 car behind the wall. That is still the number 2. 33 cars are currently running round the circuit, and only 12 trucks are on the lead lap. Average speed 157.76 miles per hour from the leader, as you can see on your information graphic. And we've been going 41 minutes 20 seconds and counting. Corey Heim in the 11 truck still out in front. Ty Majeski still in 2nd in that 98 truck. Move for 13th as Garcia gets ahead of Brandon Jones for 13th. That's 13th place for the 13 truck. 85 laps to go in this race, 11 laps to go in this stage. We've had 38 green laps, 11 yellow laps, as now it's 39 green, 11 yellow, as we tick over another lap, as we're on lap 50 of the Baptist Health 200 here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Let's go back to Fox. Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski, and Joey Logano.
And they have not quit at the front of the field.
Stuart Friesen has put the heat on Kyle Larson. There's been some great action here. You know, I thought with the adjustments that Kyle Larson would maybe set sail, but it doesn't look like it really helped his truck as much as we thought he might get out of it.
No, and I think that Corey Heim and Ty Majeski have made their trucks better. I think Ty Majeski probably the biggest gainer that I.
Yeah, and he's going for the lead.
And he feels pretty good about his truck. He's going to try to wrap the bottom here, but Corey Heim's going to have a run off of turn 2. He's going to cross him.
Oh, yeah, great back. He crossed him with a side drive. Look at the rubber marks they're leaving down. We were talking about how the track takes rubber. There's an example right there, guys. You can literally see the tire tracks coming off these trucks.
And it's a fight back to the top. You see both these trucks are able to make speed up top or along the wall. So they're both like, I got to get back up there. So that's why you see them chasing each other down the straightaway, trying to get cleared, because I felt like whoever was on the outside into turn 3 was going to get advantage of that little battle.
So Ty Majeski went for passing for the lead to being a half a second behind in less than a lap.
And remember the beginning of this restart, right? He was right there in there. He went back to 5th or 6th after not being able to pull off a pass. And then over time, got himself right back into the battle for the lead again. Shows that truck is fast.
Austin?
Yeah, we see Friesen there running the fence. He started off the first run of the race loose, but he's had 3 really good races in a row, and I can definitely see this being a track where he can be really strong with his dirt racing background, and he's clearly made up a lot of spots to start this race.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know if Stewart's got enough credit. He's had a great start to the season, just putting together smart, smooth races. Almost won in Atlanta. He'll continue to be a factor, I think, throughout this entire season.
Yeah, we were really curious, too, going into this stage. We saw at the end of stage 1, Kyle Larson in the 07, how loose he was, right? He was able to get the lead, and it looked like he fell off loose, and we thought, boy, they're going to tighten that thing up, and he's probably going to go really fast this run. I don't know if they didn't get the adjustment right, or maybe everyone else got better, too, but not that he's slow or off, right, because the leaders are right there in front of him, but it's not like everyone was expecting him just to drive away from the field. Doesn't look like that's going to happen tonight.
Yeah, and when you watch that 98 truck go around the corner through 1 and 2 right there, I mean, that thing was sideways all the way through the corner. And I think right now, 23 of 30 laps here, so 7 to go in this stage. So these guys are getting towards the end of that fuel run, starting to get the tires wore out. I think when this thing has to go a little bit longer, when we get a little deeper into this race, it's going to be interesting to see how these guys fall off.
Yeah, to your point, Kevin, there's really 3 races happening right here. You have the first stage, the second stage, and the third stage. And the second stage is almost the easiest. It's the shorter of the stages in the race. But that third one, it's going to look a lot different. Really long runs. It's going to feel more like a marathon than a sprint. These guys that can take care of their trucks, take care of their tires, and have a good package with how it's set up, they're going to really show off in that third stage.
Well, Kyle Larson just drives right back to 2nd place off of turn 4 there. You know, it seems like they have made adjustments to his truck. The long run was his weakness. Now it looks like it's his strength. And Corey Heim better run, because I believe he's coming towards him.
It's so interesting how you think one truck starts to fade, or they make a mistake, and then they start to fall back, and all of a sudden, 2 laps later, they're driving back around the guy that drove past them. So it's been a pretty interesting dynamic to see how all of these trucks are able to find something, or if they're just making a mistake, because they are sliding around a lot.
Well, I think that's going back, Kevin, to what the racetrack presents, options for the drivers. You see them running all over the racetrack, top, bottom, and when they search, they may find something every now and again and go, oh, that works right now. But it may only work for like 5 laps because the fall off is so big. It may not even work for 5 laps. And then they got to go find something again.
Heim is running really close to the wall. We talked about that earlier, how Larson is going to bait these guys into doing that.
Be all clear on exit.
Corey said in his pre-race that he didn't really like doing that. I don't know if you caught that in our pre-race interview with him, but he looks pretty good at it right now.
How much room do you think he has left to be? I mean, we see sometimes at the end of these races, guys get more aggressive. Do you think he has more room in 1 and 2 to be more aggressive?
You know, it's a good question. I think as the race goes on, he's going to have to. When those tires get really worn out, What I always find interesting, Kevin, about this series is these are steel-bodied race cars. They're the last of the 3 series that are true steel-bodied race cars, kind of like the old NASCAR cars of, 10, 20 years ago. And they don't take damage very well. The current Cup cars and NASCAR Xfinity Series cars, you can brush the wall with them, and generally they're okay. But these trucks, if you brush the wall with them, you will cut a tire down and your day will be over in just a quick second. So I think you have to be a little more cautious with the trucks.
But there you see Lane Riggs as we ride along with him. Remember, he slid through his pit stall in the previous pit stop. He's trying to make his way back up. He restarted 13th, I believe, all the way back up to 6th. So he's just trying to get that track position back so he has a chance to go try to win this thing on the 3rd stage.
Yeah, he's lost the 2nd stage, right? He's got no chance of winning this one. So we get to the last lap of the stage. But, you just want to recover that track position and to your point, be in the hunt.
Well, Corey Heim has dominated this stage as he has much of this year. He's led the majority of this stage, and I think he's actually done it in a little more of a dominant fashion than what he did in stage 1. So he pretty much leads from start to finish here. Winner of stage 2, Corey Heim. It's still Heim time, guys.
Still.
We'll come back to see if anybody can figure out anything to stop Corey Heim from Heim time.
Absolutely not. A dominant stage 2 from Corey Heim. Your stage 1 and stage 2 winner, both the number 11 truck of Corey Heim. Let's go through your classification after stage. It's Corey Heim in the 11 who has won both stages. Good amount of playoff points from Corey Heim today. Kyle Larson in the 07 is 2nd. Ty Majeski in the 98 truck is 3rd. Stuart Friesen in the 52 truck is 4th. Caden Honeycutt in the 45 truck is 5th. 6th is Lane Riggs in the 34 truck. 44 truck of Ross Chastain is 7th. Daniel Hemrick in the 19 truck is 8th. And then in 9th is the 18 truck of Tyler Ankrum. Grant Enfinger in the number 9 truck is 10th. Chandler Smith in the 38 truck is 11th. Then Connor Mozak in the 81 truck is 12th. Then the 1 truck of Brandon Jones in 13th. Corey Day is in 14th in the 7 truck. Then it's Jake Garcia in 15th in the 13 truck. The 88 truck of Matt Crafton is in 16th. Luke Fenhouse is in the 66 truck in 17th. Tanner Gray is in the 15 truck in 18th place. Raja Karoof is in 19th with the 71 truck. And then rounding out the top 20 is the 20 truck in 20th position. Once again, that's Stefan Parsons. Just waiting for confirmation on pit road opening, but it doesn't seem like we are getting it. Pit road is open though. I just heard it on the officials. They normally confirm it. They didn't confirm it that time, but it is definitely open. 72 laps to go. We are currently on lap 62. But let's go back to Homestead, Miami with Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski, with Carson Hocevar and Austin Cindric in the pit lane. They will get busy as pit road is open.
All right, guys, pits are open this time. What do we need to do to beat Corey Heim?
Well, if you're Lane Riggs, you just need to execute this pit stop because I think you've got a great truck. And looking further back at Ty Majeski, he's got a great truck. He just maybe used the tires up a little bit. So a few little adjustments. Kyle Larson's the big question mark for me, though.
Carson?
Yeah, guys, Ty Majeski going back on the adjustment, wants to put the track bar back down and going to pull rubber right here. Back on the track bar. The 07 of Kyle Larson thinks the track's getting looser, going to take a stab at it to hopefully beat the 11, but they both think they're one adjustment away to having a shot with the 11. How about you, Austin, down pit road?
Yeah, Stuart Friesen really happy with their adjustments. They were able to get a ton of short run speed, as you saw, make up all those spots. Meanwhile, Corey Heim made a small adjustment to tighten up the truck that run, and obviously really commanding run to the stage, looking for a lot of the same.
It's a tight pit road.
Oh, we got contact.
Get into each other.
Small accident on pit road. Looked like the Lane Riggs truck. Maybe Caden Honeycutt. Pit road can be chaotic. Look at this one right here, guys.
Yeah, we see Lane Riggs pull out. Just a slight contact there. We'll be back.
Fox go to another ad break. Little bit of contact, as you heard Kevin Harvick talking about. Nothing catastrophic happened, just a little bit of a love tap as cars were going from the fast lane to the pit boxes, and cars were going from the pit boxes over to the fast lane. Just normal Homestead Miami pit road shenanigans, as it is not the widest pit road.
44, 98, 901. Sweeper, you're clear once the 17 goes by you to drop down low. 17 coming off the 2 now. Once he goes by you, drop down low. You can take it back to your cutout. You're all clear, Sweeper. Elgin, you can drop down low here as well. I'll get you to the end of the front stretch and let you know when you're clear in. Steven, can you give me the 7 or the 38 off of pit road? 7 and a 38. The 19 at 34, 45, 44. 19, 34, 45 at 44 per the camera. And Elgin, you're clear to your cutout. You're clear to your cutout. Pit road is closed. Pit road is closed. It'll be one to go when they get here.
There's the confirmation of cars out of pit road, the order with the battles off of pit road, and also confirmation of pit road.
Keep your lights on. Keep your lights on. We will not be choosing this lap. We will not be choosing this lap.
Well, I was just about to say that was confirmation of pit road closed and one to go at the line, but they've turned the lights back on, and we will not be going this time round. The cars will not be choosing this lap. We are going one more lap around the Homestead Miami Speedway behind the pace truck. It's currently Heim, Larson, Friesen, Henrik, Riggs, Honeycutt, Chastain, Enfinger, Brandon Jones, and Corey Day in the top 10. Let's go back over to Fox.
Well, tonight has been a night full of Corey Heim's success.
Yeah, Corey Heim looks like a Sunday driver, guys. You just look at what he's done in this truck series this year, and even to the tail end of last year, he looked like a guy that could elevate himself up to the Cup Series. And, you know, he's won 2 of the first 3 races. Here we are in race 4 of the season. He's sweeping the stages against Cup drivers. This is a guy to watch. Stock is going up.
Piece of debris in turn 3, the cause of this caution being extended, and it'll be one to go at the line. Back to Fox.
It looked like Caden Honeycutt was trying to get up in front of Ty Majeski, and
ooh,
look at this damage right here, guys.
Yeah, you look at that. That's a lot of damage, and these trucks are ultra sensitive to the aerodynamics, and that is They brought him back down pit road, gave up their track position, saying, we got to pop this back out. Carson, you got an update down there for us?
Yeah, there's a
All
lot.
pitted too soon. The lineup held the longest line, 99, 98, 17.
Roads, multiple laps down. He was in front of the 98 and came down pit road anyways to work on damage. And that one spot, they felt like put him behind the 34 lane rigs and put them in that spot. Although they didn't have a long change, but that one spot they felt like was the difference of knocking the left front fender off and feeling like they were one adjustment away, and now they're one damage away from trying to stay in the race.
Well, that's definitely interesting between the two teammates. But did you see how that thing popped out? That thing popped out and formed right back up.
Yeah, it's impressive. That'll get him back to where his truck will drive well, but he has no track position now, and it's going to be just a dogfight to try to get back up to the front.
Yeah, I mean, 69 laps to go. There's really not much time there. I believe we got some radio from the 45 here about the incident.
I hate that kid so much. He's such an idiot. In the quarter panel on the bumper. It wasn't hard, but he lifted me up. I think it's okay. They just showed it on TV.
Yeah, the 45 doesn't look too bad to me. And honestly, I don't think Ty's truck looks that bad now after that damage pop.
No, I think Ty's truck, I think he was super fortunate to be able to have the damage just pop out like that. Let's hear what Lane Riggs had to say.
45 flipping me off like I did something wrong. I left in the lane. No, you left in the lane. You were fine. Go apologize to Inspire. I mean, I wasn't trying to do nothing wrong. I felt like I gave a flip.
Yeah, it's just product of a narrow pit road here at Homestead. There's really only 2 lanes on this pit road, and when a third truck comes out, you got to merge. And
yeah, sometimes the things I've learned about some of these rivalries is they didn't start here.
Yeah.
A lot of these might go back to the late model days, and those two guys have spent a lot of time in the Cars Tour and in the late models across the East Coast racing each other. But I've got good news and I've got bad news. It depends on which side of the fence you sit on, but no driver has won the pole in both stages and ever won the race here at Miami.
Ooh, well, Heim says, I
hate bringing those stats out, but
well, I mean, it's a good chance to be, a good time to be your own stat.
That's
today, right?
Well, Corey Heim has been dominant. Kyle Larson, another chance to adjust on his truck, but I still think that Lane Riggs has something to say about this. I think that his truck is as good as anybody, so we'll see now that he has some track position. Final stage here at Homestead.
Well, you see that outside lane still doesn't have a lot of grip. Kyle Larson spun the tires big time.
So he just have a hard time hooking up that second gear.
Corey Heim says, thank you. I'll take that lead. What's good when you're a leader and you can quickly establish a gap like this is you can immediately go into tire saving. How about Daniel Hemrick? We haven't talked about him all night, guys, but here he is. He's driving up to second place.
That's Lane Riggs making a big move from the bottom, drifting all the way up to the top, trying to get that top lane down the straightaway here. Is he going to go 3 wide into the bottom here? I think he will.
Yeah, you see him underneath Daniel Hemrick right there. We haven't seen Hemrick up front much as Ross Chastain right behind them in the 44 truck.
Well, we've seen Ross be able to fire off fast on every restart. He's been moving forward. He seemed to fade the last couple runs, but he's making up as much time as he can while he can on these new tires.
See Kyle Larson on the bottom of Corey Heim right here. We saw this, something very similar to this at the beginning of the last stage. It's like that little gnat that just won't go away. And Corey Heim eventually wore him down in stage 2.
He's come around right in front of him, try to take that air off him in the corner, and it's going to work. You see the outside lane charging with the clean air.
Look at the run from the top here. Lane Riggs is going to have a run, get to the outside of Kyle Larson, and Ross Chastain right behind him coming along. Look at Ross diving down to the bottom all the way to Corey Heim's door. He's going to have a hard time getting down this straightaway. He's going to have a hard time getting off that corner. And here they come, but he's still able to hang.
He thought about pulling that truck up in between the first and the third place truck right there, but drives it in deep and takes the lead.
So this is what we talk about Miami all the time. There's the comers and goers, right? The trucks that can take off with a ton of speed, but they fall off. But let's see what Ross Chastain has in that 44 truck now, because he's proven he has a ton of grip to fire off.
Yeah, and the other thing that you got to remember in this stage is 74 laps. We're on lap 10, so you're going to have to make a pit stop during this stage if this goes green.
Yeah, and just quick math, 74 laps. That means you're going to have to go at least 37 laps. The longest we've gone all night, green flag laps, is less than 25.
And you look how fast he is. And it's the only truck that's been able to really pull away that quickly.
Is he that fast, or is he just not saving any tires? That's a big question mark to me, Joey.
Well, I don't know if these guys behind him are saving a whole bunch. They're racing a lot. They just may have, you know, just different settings in the cars that makes that happen.
Well, we're going to find out over this run, aren't we?
Yes.
Well, right now, Ross Chastain has built himself a lead that's as much as any other lead that we've seen tonight. Only the third guy to lead this race. Corey Heim, Kyle Larson, and Ross Chastain, your current leader, are the only people to have led this truck race. It's always really ironic when you get into these types of scenarios and you see a truck just kind of blow out there that you really hadn't seen that speed from all night long. But it looks like he's in a different zip code right now compared to the
his last 11 and 7 have been at least 0.3 of a lap faster. So you see Tyler Ankrum here racing with Raja.
Carson?
Yeah, guys, Ross Chastain able to make an air pressure change as we seen on that last pit stop. This restart able to fire off super strong. One thing to note, though, NASCAR Motorsports, one of the only truck series to take all their pit crew guys, hire them all, and do it in-house. They do their pit crew practice, they do it all. So having this advantage hopefully takes a little bit of pressure off those pit crews if we come to green and have a green flag stop here during this stage.
You might say it put more pressure on them. They got a chance to win. You don't want to be the guy that fumbles the ball on the final pit stop, right? When you have a chance to win the race. And obviously we were quite a few laps away from that green flag cycle if that happens and if the caution comes out. But right now these truckers, they got 2 sets of tires laying in the pits. So that's how the strategy can play out depending on how cautions fall.
These are your biggest movers right there.
No surprise, Ross Chastain from 7th to the lead, +6. Stephen Parsons, didn't talk much about him tonight. And how about Gio down there in the bottom? Got in that crash earlier in the race, and got to give credit to him and his team. They have not given up on this thing.
And Matt Crafter with the big run down into turn 3. Is he gonna slide him, Brad? Yeah, oh yeah.
2 for 1.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think that move is pretty interesting because that's what Ross did to take the lead. All of a sudden, we've seen a lot of these guys be able to drive way in the corner and slide up in almost the middle of the corner with all that momentum. We saw that a lot in the Cup race last year, too, with guys just drive it in really deep and almost dime in that corner and come back down. Very unique line.
Yeah,
you have to think that uses up a lot of your tires to do, right? It's a big, long slide.
It is a huge, long slide, but they're thinking, hey, if I can get in front of them, get to the outside lane, which is the preferred lane, I came out ahead.
Austin?
Hey guys, I'm sitting here down at entry of turn 1 watching these racetracks go by. I wanted to find a better place to watch than pit road. Just, I don't know, I like to see things. Regan wouldn't let me jump the fence though, but I ran into my friend here, Frank, new friend, 94 years old, Korean War veteran, and we're out here watching the race, having a good time. Having a good time?
Yeah, give him the microphone.
Yeah. Love it. First time this track. I've been Daytona and I've been to Dover and Poconos.
Well, thanks for your service. No, this is it's a good race, isn't it?
I like this track. You can see everything.
Who's your favorite driver?
My
favorite driver?
Larson, Kyle Larson.
Big Kyle Larson man, rooting for the 07 truck, but great view tonight, and Frank and I are going to enjoy the end of this race.
Good job, Austin. He's right. This is one of the best racetracks to watch, and when you are able to, if you're able to come to Homestead, Miami here and watch the race, it doesn't have a tri-oval, it's a traditional oval shape, and it was built as a flat track. This track used to be, it used to have 4 corners actually. It used to be built like a little miniature Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and then they made it what it is today, but both corners were dead flat. And then they didn't like that, so we put the progressive banking in, and now it's become what it's become, just one of the raciest tracks on the circuit.
How about Austin Cindric, though? He's supposed to be our pit reporter. You can't keep him caged up. He went outside the racetrack.
But you can't fault him. He's supporting our troops. Look,
yes.
They found a Korean War veteran who loves racing. God bless him. Thank you for your service, Mr. Frank. Great shot here, Kyle Larson, as he's working the wheel up off of turn 2 here. Running the bottom, you see his eyes move up, check in the mirror.
Pretty wild to hear the off-throttle time. We talk about, you know, the trucks with all the drag and less horsepower, and you hear the RPMs way down. That's a lot of throttle. A lot of throttle off time there, Joey.
Yeah, well, that's that tire wear kicking in. You hear him just
got the third
rolling there
right behind him.
Barely picks up the throttle, and he's probably quarter half throttle until he gets to this part of the straightaway or the corner where he's able to finally get it wide open. You just gotta feather it nice and easy. All about momentum.
Turning down to the bottom of the racetrack this lap. See how he just keeps moving around trying to find that grip. It's almost like a dirt race, and that's what he does really well.
Well, as we ride with Kyle Larson, we will come back and see if anybody has anything for now. Ross Chastain.
Ross Chastain becomes the 3rd driver to lead this race behind Kyle Larson and Corey Heim. Only 3 cautions today. One was on lap 1 for an incident in turn 2. Very nearly a lap 1, turn 1 meme, but it wasn't. It counted as turn 2. According to the officials, it was between trucks 17 and 99, and then caution 2 was the stage 1 conclusion, and then the 3rd caution was the stage 2 conclusion. And 2 out of the 3 cautions have had a free pass, and both of the free passes given out were to the 76 truck. 3 leaders, as I mentioned, 5 lead changes. We've been going an hour and 9 minutes with 49 laps to go. Currently working lap 85. We've been yellow for 17 laps, green for 68 laps, 33 trucks running, 28 currently on the lead lap. Behind the wall, 1 truck, and that is still the number 2 truck as well. At the front, let's quickly go through the classification. It's Chastain, Heim, Riggs, Larson, Hemrick, Honeycutt, Friesen, Enfinger, Brandon Jones, Ankrum, Chandler Smith, Mozak, Garcia, Day, Crafton, Mills, Tanner Gray, Carruth, then it's Fenhouse and Parsons still in the 20 truck, rounding out the top 20. Just gone 1:30 here in the UK, just gone 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 Pacific Time, and 2:30 in Europe. Night NASCAR race round Miami. It's a night Craftsman Truck Series race. It's a classic NASCAR Craftsman's Truck Series race. Let's go back and join Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, Carson Hocevar in the pits, and Austin Cindric wherever he has ended up around the circuit.
Lots going on in Fox. A lot of sports. We love sports.
We like sports, but we prefer NASCAR.
I like NASCAR, and I like a good battle for the lead, and it is heating back up again. Corey Heim has ran down Ross Chastain, but he's brought along his friends Well, I don't know. We'll call them friends for now. I don't think they're actually friends as they compete. But here he's the run down the back straightaway into turn 3. Corey Heim, big run.
He's going to slide up right in front of Ross Chastain. Whoa. We got some contact in the wall right in front of them off of turn 4. There's action all over this track.
Well, that's just the racing that this racetrack creates. And like you said a minute ago, the tire fall off creates the comers and goers through the field. And now at this point in the run, as we're on lap 28 of this stage, and this is really where you start to see the swings in trucks that aren't handling very good. We see Ross fire off trying to build up for that short run, and now he's having to pay the price on the second half of this run.
You see him try to throw this haymaker block. He's going to try again to Lane Riggs. Lane ain't having any of that. Still able to clear him just barely. Look at the run Larson's got. He's going to get both of them.
Oh, that's going to make Lane upset. Lane has been really fast, arguably faster than Heim.
Oh, no!
Larson.
Lock it down here. Lock it down. You're good.
Oh, Larson's going to spin off of turn 2. Nice 360.
He's not going to lose many spots there.
I don't know if he lost 1 or 2. That was impressive.
Yeah, and this will definitely put everybody in the window to pit right here. I think Larson might have a flat right rear tire there.
That all started when Lane Riggs.
You can hear it.
Yeah, you can hear it.
He's got to be careful with that because that tire comes apart and rips that quarter panel off. His race is over. But he doesn't want to lose many spots right now as the field closes back up.
Look at all these guys are going by him. He can't maintain minimum speed.
He's going to be in the back anyway. He should just pit.
He's going to drive by pit road, it looks like.
I don't like that.
Ooh, yeah, I don't like that either.
That's risky.
This whole sequence all started with Lane Riggs trying to pass Ross Chastain. Ross Chastain threw that haymaker at him to try to defend, and it checked up Lane Riggs, gave Kyle Larson that big run, and it just all stacked up.
Yeah, and here we go.
We're going to see it right here on the replay. And you see Larson with the big run off of turn 4. Right before this, Ross Chastain threw the big block on Lane Riggs. And they're going to get down in this corner. And Larson wants this clear. He wants to get all the way to the top of the track, but Lane Riggs is there. Makes contact, and around he goes.
And I feel like that's something that a lot of guys have started to do now. It's like drive it in hard and almost fake that move that you're coming up and then try to stop it if the guy's still there. And I think in this case, Lane was definitely still there.
Yeah, it's like he tried to scare him out of it a little bit, right?
Yeah,
Tried to get him to
got
lift.
loose right there. That's what happened.
We'll be open this time of the caution truck.
I love how he just put the gas pedal down on the wood.
Open green light.
You know that was wide open, trying to keep it off the fence, trying to drive down the hill.
Yep.
So he didn't make contact with the wall.
And he gets a great 360 out of this. Unintentional drift, but
didn't wreck. See the right rear tread. Oh, this will be good.
So he's thinking to himself he's going to be clear in turn 1. He just doesn't quite get there.
Just hear him working that throttle there, but when you're sliding like that, you're taking the rear tire off of it, and eventually it's going to pop.
What are you trying to control right there, though? You saw him wheels to the right. Tell us what happens right there quickly.
Well, I think what he's trying to do, he's got his wheels to the right. He's trying to correct the car, and more than anything, he's trying to get his truck to come down the hill, right? Like, the last thing you want to do is back it into the wall, and you just ruin the back of your truck. You got to drive down the hill.
All right. 43 laps to go. Carson?
Yeah, guys, Grant Enfinger constantly keeps working on that hot rod of his. He's currently 7th, but can't seem to get it off the right rear. Jeff Stakowitz going to go 3 pounds up in the right front inner liner, but the Ross Chastain 44 machine actually went down on air that last run. They're going to get a little bit of pounds out of the right front because he we're on the right front, right off the thing. Austin, what do you got down pit road?
Yeah, I got Lane Riggs here looking at this left rear fender. He's got a little bit of damage. They're going to try and get a tug here once they change this left rear tire to fix some of this. He's working on a free entry. Corey Heim obviously doing a master class here at managing his runs. Yeah, there you go. He's got a pole and away he goes.
Lane Riggs going to lose 4 or 5 vital positions here on this pit sequence. Corey Heim.
45, a full start, tell the longest line, and vehicle interference. 45, tell the longest line, vehicle interference.
Look at Honeycutt and Hemrick. Big gains on pit road.
Yeah, and this is going to be the longest run of the night if it goes green. As these guys get back, they're going to have, 39 or so laps to go, 40 laps to go.
This race just shifted big time, guys. Kyle Larson, one of the biggest threats to win the race. He's now in the back. Ty Majeski, he had one of the fastest trucks. We saw the contact he had at the end of stage 2. All the big guys that were threats to Corey Heim have been having issues. Now Lane Riggs, even he loses a few spots in the sequence of pit road. So if I'm Corey Heim, I'm really liking how this race is looking for me right now.
Well, I enjoy watching these truck races, but what I'm really looking forward to is racing on Sunday. The NASCAR Cup Series heats up in the Sunshine State, where the best drivers in the world, that's me and you, Brad, battle it out at Homestead by the pre-race begins at 1:30 Eastern with the green flag.
88 is under penalty for not control tire. We'll start tell the longest line. Pit road is closed. Pit road is closed. We'll be 1 to go when we get here. Right. Yep. Let's have the 22 pass the caution truck, wave around eligible. 22, he can pass the caution truck, wave around eligible.
One of the best races to me as a fan to come to. You beautiful Miami, beautiful Florida weather, great action on the racetrack, and being able to watch all 3 series on one weekend makes it a very special race weekend.
Always one of my favorites to drive. We didn't win here enough either, but still one of the right ones.
Yeah, the most important one you won, right?
That's right.
Well, here we see Lane Riggs.
Oh, Caden Honeycutt dropping to the rear.
I don't know what happened there.
Vehicle interference.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah.
He hit
the 19 tire carrier.
That's interesting.
Can't do that.
Hope maybe we'll get a replay of that one. Lots of rules in NASCAR. You got to make sure you get them all right, or this is what happens. They send you to the back.
It's a real complicated sport when you think about there's a lot of different rules. There's a lot of different parts and pieces. A lot for everyone to keep track of.
Yeah, and we've seen this choose become a pretty big deal as that outside lane just doesn't really get going. But we've seen, the leader Corey Heim take off. Heim has now led the most laps in 6 straight mile-and-a-half races, breaking the Truck Series record.
Wow.
Those guys have just been. We talked about this a little bit before the broadcast. It seems like those Tricon trucks carry a little bit more downforce than a lot of the trucks. A lot of the mile-and-a-half racetracks, they qualify mid-pack. And by the time they get to the race, they wind up in the front. And in a place like Homestead, downforce is so important.
Such bullshit, dude. Second week in a row, something like that. You got a good truck here. You complain about all night, or you just can shut up and go forward? Yeah, well, we're in good shape.
Getting a little coaching from the crew chief right there. Obviously not happy with their penalty. Puts them in the back. That's a tough break for them because they were in great position.
And I think hearing stuff like that is good for Caden. I think he's a very emotional guy. Gets wound up a lot, but that radio button, it can be your worst enemy.
Yeah.
I found that out a lot.
Yeah, don't forget
that radio button is terrible. I wish that thing didn't work.
The team has one too. They can talk back to you. Yes.
Yeah.
The big winner in that penalty was Ross Chastain. He's now P3. We saw how he took off from P7 to get the lead on the last restart.
And quietly, Daniel Hemrick outside of the front row.
His pit crew has been on fire for him.
40 laps to go. Longest run of the night coming up if we can make it all the way to the end. Green flag.
pulling out of the line, hello, pass through. 63 pulling out of the line before the
You know he's got a
slide,
fast
hello,
truck. He
pass
had a
through.
little issue on pit road there, wasn't able to keep the track position he had.
Ross Chastain's at the top of the racetrack, and Corey Heim's going to dive to the bottom, and look at Ross go.
Yeah, and in this scenario, you know that Ross Chastain, how fast he was the last run. I mean, you just let him go. You know you're going to be better than him on the long run.
Yeah, you don't want to let him get too far out there to where you can't catch him, though, either. But I don't think there's any defending. Look at the speed that he carries through 1 and 2. I mean, he put 6 to 7 truck lengths right there, just in one corner. That is ridiculous.
And a lot of times that is just probably super low air pressure on the 11 truck.
Yes.
I would guess.
Yeah, I would guess the same thing, Kevin. I think that's pretty safe. And you're trading the short for the long. And that's the game here right now.
Let's see a replay of this 1945 pit incident here on pit road. See the 19 going in his pit box, and
the 45 has to come around the 19 to get into his pit box. And he must be brushing. Oh, there you go. He's going to hit that tire just barely. Yep. And that's a penalty.
And those marks on the pit road in the stalls to try to protect the tire changers out there when their backs are to race trucks. And you don't want their heels to get clipped by a race truck. So that line is there to protect the pit crew members.
And that's a really difficult situation when you're pitted like that, and the guy in the pit stall behind you pits before you. Just difficult to go around
and navigate, absolutely,
and navigate that situation.
So 2 fast race trucks in this picture right here. Ty Majeski, Kyle Larson, the 2 of them trying to battle their way back through the field from going to the back, right? Larson had his issues when he just spun out. Majeski had his issues on pit road where he got his left front fender knocked in. Both fast, both, I don't know, can get to the front in 35 laps.
Racing with Stephen Parsons here. P15. That's a long ways to get to the front.
See Grant Enfinger go down and looked like he touched the door of Chandler Smith right there trying to get the side draft. I don't know if he's frustrated or just misjudged that.
Lane Riggs besides Daniel Hamrick trying to claw back that track position he lost, fixing the damage from the contact he had with Kyle Larson.
Carson?
Yeah, guys, obviously you saw how fast the 44 Ross Chastain fired off. I instantly went over to the crew chief of Wally Rogers. I pointed, did you go up on air? He shook his head and pointed down. So maybe this is a game of bait and switch. Obviously the 44 fired off better than the 11, but the 11 must be even lower on air, potentially, with the way we're seeing these guys fire off.
That's some good reporting, Carson.
Yes.
Because we were all wondering up here, too.
The big question, we're going to all see it play out in real time here. Can Ross Chastain's truck hold on for a 40-lap run? Or will Corey Heim come back and get 2 stages and the win today?
Well, we've seen, you know, the last restart where Ross got the lead, and he drove away for maybe 8 to 10 laps before we've seen him start to get, you know, everyone start to catch him and pass him. It seems like Heim's already keeping up with him at this point. So is he gonna, you know, a 0.6 of a second of gap right now from first to second? Is he gonna be able to close that? I'm not sure. Austin, you got something on the 19?
Yeah, we're talking about long versus short run. Hemrick's obviously come up through the field, the 19 truck there. He said earlier that it wasn't good on short runs. He needs lots of green flag running tonight. So this could be the longest run of the race. So it could be a great opportunity for Hemrick to get a good run tonight.
I love this move Lane Riggs just made into turn 1 and 2. Just ship that truck down into the corner, all the way up against the wall. That takes guts to do.
Just almost clear him into the corner, but not quite, as there's still 3 wide.
Lane Riggs has clawed himself back into the top 3 now, as Corey Heim has caught our leader, Ross Chastain.
And this is basically what we saw the last run. Like you guys said, that short amount of laps, and Heim just takes over. Well, you won't miss anything. Corey Heim takes the lead from Ross Chastain, and we'll be right back to see if he can close it out.
30 laps to go here at Homestead, Miami for the Baptist Health 200 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck series, returning after a couple of weeks away, as we are looking at the 45 of Caden Honeycutt. But 2 stage wins currently for Corey Heim in the 11, who has just returned to the lead. And 2 of the JBMotorsports cars together. That was the number 7. Right up into the wall, very nearly losing it. That was very close. Maybe a little bit too close for comfort. Majeski has just taken 10th away from the 15 truck of Tanner Gray. Tanner Gray now down to 11th place. Got knocked outside of the top 10 side by side. That was Corey Heim lapping, I believe, a lapped car. 38 down the inside of the number 9 truck. This is Smith and Enfinger. Smith on the inside for 6th, but the number 9 takes it back side by side down the backstretch, down towards turn 3 we go. 38 just got its nose in front. The 9 truck up on the high line, trying to get the speed off the corner, isn't able to. Goes back in towards the slipstream and goes around the outside. That was the number 9, very nearly turning the number 38 as the 9 went up, right up against the wall. Thought there was space, there was not space. Hemrick in the 19 truck up to 4th. That drops Tyler Ankrum down into 5th place. 27 laps to go here at Homestead Miami under the lights for the Baptist Health 200. Let's go back down to Fox for their drivers only broadcast. Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick and Brad Keselowski in the booth.
Welcome back to Homestead Miami Speedway, where Corey Heim continues to lead. He has spent the entire race in the top 3.
Just a dominant performance, Kevin. This guy looks great.
Yeah, but we've seen this happen all night long, is where the leader starts to fall off, gets passed, and then boom,
right back.
He's hanging with them. Like, as fast as Corey Heim passed Ross Chastain in the 44, you'd have thought he would have driven away into the sunset, gone. And Ross has been able to hang, not to mention Lane Riggs, not too far out of the picture right now at 25 laps to go.
Yeah, Lane has definitely clawed himself back into this race.
Ross is going to be a tough one to pass, though. If that truck doesn't just tank, that's going to be a tough one.
It looks to me like it might tank. It's like that 44 truck of Ross Chastain is a handful up there. You watch him go through the corner, and he just walks that thing all the way through the corner.
Right there, Kevin.
Carson?
Yeah, guys, it's been a little bit of a different game plan for the crew chiefs. In 2023, when I won here, it was a split decision at the end of the race. Tires or no tires. I had an early yellow. Same thing when Grant Enfinger won. This year around, every crew chief has another set of tires that it was obvious and an easy decision last time they were down pit road to take them. Now we're getting too late in the race. There's no games to be played. The second you get a chance to put 4 new tires on it, you're going to get that opportunity.
Thanks, Carson. I mean, that's an easy decision when you have the right amount of tires. And I feel like some of these places we go to, like here, I like the added set of tires. Yes. What do you guys say?
I do too. It puts the race more in the driver's hands and a little bit less out of the strategist's hands of being able to just go out there and go race side by side and not have to worry about it.
It depends what you're into, right? There's something for every fan, but right now we see Lane Riggs.
Look at that thing.
On top, Chastain sideways. He's not going to be able to defend this run.
Yep, Lane Riggs going to pull a little side draft here and clear him down into turn 1 by the looks of it, guys. Tell you what, Lane is pretty fast right here, guys. He might have a shot at running down Corey Heim. This is the first time he's got a long run with reasonable track position.
Yeah, I've been watching where he's making the speed. The 34 has been able to...
Watch this.
Yes, before I get into that. Yeah, it's so sideways. He just burnt the tires off of that thing. But where I see Lane Riggs being able to carry so much speed, it's into turn 1. He's able to roll so much speed in that third lane, and then that momentum carries all the way down the back straightaway.
Yeah, he runs into turn 1 really hard. You just see him driving up towards the wall, making things happen. And I'll tell you another guy who's making things happen here, Ty Majeski. Going to drive himself into, he's been in the top 10, but now up to 9th.
He's taking Larson with him as they race against Stuart Friesen right here in the 52.
Yeah, Larson's starting to get fast here. Both of these guys had to restart in the back.
Yeah, something's happened to Corey Heim.
Oh,
yeah, Corey Heim has fallen back, but as the leader crossed the line, we've reached our Craftsman 20 to go right here. What happened to the 11, Austin?
On the radio and said the truck shut off. He had to recycle it, and now he's back going. No problems, except for losing the lead.
Loses the lead, but then we have a battle back for the lead right now with Lane Riggs and Ross Chastain.
What an odd set of circumstances right there as you see Ross Chastain continue to slide that 44 truck off the corner, but we were calling the 20 to go there, and Corey Heim all of a sudden just slowed down.
See him going down the backstretch here, Kevin.
Yeah, the truck's just off. Shut completely off right there. What a quick scenario for him to think about resetting everything and keep himself in contention for this race.
Wow. I think he was just spotting the field here.
Yeah, now he's got his work cut out for him. 19 laps to go. He's got to make up almost a second and a half. And oh yeah, pass them both. And somehow, during this whole exchange, Ross Chastain has gotten back by Lane Riggs. And the battle right here is for the lead and possibly the win.
Well, and right now it's become harder. We all know how good at the defense side of things that Ross Chastain is and how difficult he can make it on guys to pass him. And now every lap that ticks by, it's going to get harder and harder and harder for Lane Riggs to get by Ross Chastain. But it's not going to take much of a slip up from Chastain because that truck is on the edge of out of control the whole way around the racetrack.
Yes, it is. It had been really free, and he's moved up a little tighter for the wall.
Pushing hard, trying to get back here. It's been all the white line, very bottom 1 and 2. Top speed 3 and 4.
Here's spotter Josh Williams talking to his driver Lane Riggs.
Here's a replay of how Ross Chastain was to get back by Lane Riggs. You see Lane on the bottom. Ross just kind of carries that momentum and honestly passes him the same way that Lane passed Ross.
Yes,
gets that run off the top, and I'm pretty certain Ross is probably going to ship it in here.
Not as much as I thought he did.
Oh, Lane just got a little loose right there in the middle of the corner, and Ross was able to finish that pass off. But I'm still surprised, and we've seen this all night. Most of these trucks that we think are going to go to the back or look bad or sliding around too much, they calm down and figure out a way to get themselves back in a lane or a place on the racetrack that makes their truck happy. But they're going to have their hands full with this 11.
Yeah, he's coming.
Corey Heim reeled him right back in. Remember, he was a second and a half back not too long ago. Now he's trying to get the side draft. He's not going to quite get it. Did it shut off again?
It did. It did. You heard it down the front stretch. You can see it now. Look how much room he lost.
And I think he got it back going again. He's getting better at cycling whatever he's needing to cycle here.
Just keep cycling it and turn it back on. It is what it is.
He definitely didn't lose as much that time. He caught it quicker. And he keeps himself right in contention. He still might get the pass on this lap.
That is amazing. That truck has so much speed, and it shut off again right there. Oh, that's so frustrating for him.
And it never happens on a day when the thing's running 25th.
Oh.
Well, that thing doesn't run 25th, Kevin. That thing's always up front.
Good point.
Well, good point. Fair point, Joey. It never happens when he's running 10th.
Yeah, there you go. And right now, Lane Riggs is saying, what's going on? The 11 gets up next to me, and then he lets me go. What's he doing?
Oh, man, I feel for Corey. We'll see if it does it again down this front straightaway.
I mean, the run he's able to carry from the bottom off of turn 4 is incredible how much grip that truck has. If he can just keep the engine running.
Right now, I'm looking at the scoreboard, and I don't know what Kyle Larson's doing Kyle Larson things 2 inches from the wall, but he is
running down the leaders.
3/4 of a second faster than everybody. Half a second to 3/4 of a second faster, and he's just plugged that thing up against the fence and said, all right, boys, it's time to go. I don't care what happens to the right side of this truck. I'm coming.
Whoa, 3 wide here, trying to get the lead. Corey Heim through lap traffic.
He's going to have a tough angle down there. You know, he entered so low. He's made his corner a lot sharper. But that truck has just got speed.
He's got him right here, and he needs to run fast because Kyle Larson is way faster than everybody right now. If that engine shuts off anymore, they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah. Larson is way faster. He's got 12 laps to go right now, and I just don't know. Do you think he has enough time?
Well, if Corey Heim has another slip-off, if the engine shuts off or has another problem, it's going to stack these guys up and bring them right back to Kyle Larson.
He didn't gain a lot that lap. He's still got some traffic that he has to work through. So Kyle Larson has figured out how to make his truck run really fast.
0.6 of a second faster than the truck in front of him that last lap. You know, looking at lap times here, Kyle Larson and Daniel Hemrick, he's going to drive by him here into turn 3, as you can see.
Yeah, and if Corey Heim's truck will run to the finish of the race and keep up his pace, he's the only one in the same zip code as Kyle Larson right now.
And this is kind of what we expected, is Kyle Larson to lay this thing up against the wall and just go really, really fast. But it happened a lot later in the race than we expected.
And the reason that a lot of these guys wait, we touched on it earlier, a lot of these guys will wait until the very end of the race to be able to put their car up against the wall. These are, as Brad stated earlier in the race, these are metal-built bodies. They're not...
very fragile.
Yeah, they're very fragile. So anytime that you would touch the wall, it's going to tear the side of this truck up.
And this is amazing, guys. Look how close he is to the wall going as fast as he is. There's none better than Kyle Larson at running the fence. He's able to get that thing right on the fence. And we talked about it earlier. The closer you get to the wall, the more downforce this truck is going to make, the faster it's going to go. But you see other trucks are going to take his lane, right? Like they're going to take it on him. He's going to have to move around.
Comment and said, you know what, I need to make sure he doesn't pass me that way.
And that's what's going to prevent him possibly getting all the way to the lead, because he's got to pass these trucks. But he's no one that can get closer to the wall than Kyle Larson.
And the crazy part is, these walls they're kind of tweaked. The entry into one has this weird radius to it, and Kyle is able to figure out how to run every square inch of that wall at the exact radius of the wall.
It's super impressive. He's gonna have this big run off of turn 2. Just mowing down the straightaway in the draft of Tyler Ankrum.
Yeah, and when Ankrum moved up there, it really ruined all the momentum that he had to be able to continue driving forward. Corey Heim has just had a phenomenal night as these guys come to 8 laps to go. But Corey Heim has done a great job all night long.
If I'm Corey Heim, I'm a nervous wreck about my truck shutting off.
Yes,
right now.
absolutely.
You're in the lead. You got close to a second lead. Things are looking okay. 7 laps to go. You can lose that second lead where that thing's shutting off very quickly. And Lane Riggs is keeping the pressure on him. He's done a good job. He's driven away from Ross Chastain by a second. He's hanging there, and he's found that wall kind of like Kyle Larson. Not quite as close, but he's found some speed up there to where he can hang pretty well.
I mean, if Larson can get by Ankrum, he will run down second and third place very fast. It looks like he might have him right here, Joey.
Yeah,
maybe not.
The line side drive from here back inside here, tight.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, he's going to come up a few laps short, even if he gets back to his rate of speed. His only hope is to see that 11 truck of Corey Heim shut off. He's going to run down Ross Chastain fairly easy.
Yeah, he's got him almost right now.
See him go straight up the racetrack. He knows that he can't waste any time. He knows his truck is the best at the top of the racetrack, and he just went right up there and pulled that slide job on Ross. Ross's truck, it faded a long time ago. That thing was sliding around 10 laps into the run.
Yeah, he's pretty far back as we hit the 4 to go. I don't believe he can catch him from where he's at now. Traffic just held him up too long.
Heim's
it's 11.
Oh, that's exactly what Larson needed, and Lane Riggs is going to take that. Oh, what a gift.
Again. We're coming back, 3 to go.
And what I say, I'd be so nervous about my truck shutting off. It just shut off again on him. He loses second place.
Well, now it's going to be a race.
Oh, yeah. Larson is only about a second behind, second and a half behind Lane Riggs, and he's probably a half a second a lap faster this last lap.
3 laps to go. Kyle Larson running down Lane Riggs. The 11 truck of Corey Heim has dominated this race all night long. He's had a lot of trouble with this truck shutting off randomly and just absolutely dominated this race. But look at that stat. Passed for the win in the last 2 mile-and-a-half races.
And Larson is coming.
I mean, he is going to be there.
This is going to be.
Look how fast he's coming.
And Corey Heim's back in this mix as well.
They get racing side by side. Corey Heim's going to be able to take advantage of that possibly.
2 laps to go.
That last lap. Wow.
And here he goes down to the bottom into turn 1. He's going to try to slide him. Now, as the run that Lane Riggs is going to be able to carry from the top, he's going to try to cross him back over down the back straightaway. But boy,
Kyle Larson was 3 seconds behind the leaders just 2 or 3 laps ago. Now he's in the lead, coming to the white flag.
What a wild finish to this race. And there's Corey Heim on the bottom there. His truck's running, but he's got to pass both of them here, and I don't see him passing Kyle Larson for sure.
Well, Kyle Larson's coming to the white flag. So the next flag will end the race. Corey Heim has absolutely dominated this race. Kyle Larson, the leader of the race currently, spun out to bring the caution out here in stage 3. We all thought that Kyle Larson would be one of the dominant trucks tonight. He's not rarely challenged on a racetrack like this when you can run up against the wall at Homestead. We thought he would be in contention to win, and tonight Kyle Larson stays with it and finds himself going to victory lane in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series at Homestead Speedway. What a night.
Wow, restarted 22nd with less than 40 laps to go.
Awesome.
And the last half a dozen laps, he was almost a second a lap faster. Just blew their doors off.
Well, I can promise you that none of those guys sitting up on that pit box.
Awesome. Great job, Tyler. Way to keep your head on your shoulders there. Really proud of you guys. All you guys down here, awesome work. Great week.
Well, this guy's going to be in all 3 races, and then you see Corey Heim right here. That's a tough one to lose. You got to feel for him.
Oh man, you know, I don't know if Larson could have beat Corey Heim. It's unfortunate to have mechanical issues like that.
Kyle Larson will be in all 3 races this weekend, and everybody here knows that Kyle Larson can do exactly what he just did in every race. I hate to tell you guys that, but I think you already know it. This guy is just so good at this racetrack when it comes to running the fence, and when he finally put that thing up against the wall like that, it was lights out fast.
And we've seen this with Kyle Larson at this racetrack, Kevin. So many times, you give him a long run, he's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's the long run. The short runs, he's beatable. You can beat him on a short run. The long run, though, he gets that top rolling like that, and he is
He's a
unstoppable.
Marathon runner. Yeah, marathon runner here at Homestead, and you get these long runs.
I see.
And it's easy to say, like, well, why don't you guys just put it up against the wall and do that? It's not that easy to do.
Yeah.
You get up there, it's hard to carry the speed he does that close to the fence without hitting it. And I've said this many times, he's invested a lot of time to get good at running the wall. He gave away a lot of races early in his career, hitting the wall, trying to get good at that. And now he is getting a reward for all that time.
Yeah, and I feel like this is one of those places where Kyle Larson, young Kyle Larson, back in around 2014 was really recognized. He came here in Chip Ganassi's, under Chip Ganassi's stable in the truck race, put on a show, and tonight he did the same thing.
He's barely excited. It's like no big deal to him. He just drove from the back to the lead. That's how Kyle is, though, right? There's just not much emotion out of him. Yeah, bad or good. Like, he's just
the expectation is to win, and that's really one of the one of the things that makes Kyle Larson so great. His highs aren't too high, his lows aren't too low. You run into the side of him, he runs into the side of you. It's just like not a big deal.
Well, maybe that's why he's so good at running the wall, right? Yeah. You know, he does not panic. Very smooth.
Well, that was Kyle's 4th career win and his 16th start. Let's send it down to Austin.
Well, Kyle, none of us are surprised, but we are all very entertained. How's this win stack up? 4th career win in the Truck Series.
Yeah, that was pretty unbelievable. From my seat, you know, I wasn't exactly sure if I could get back up there. Didn't have the restart that I wanted. Kind of took a little bit too long to start picking them off, and then just got ripping the wall and both ends, and it was really paying dividends, I think, in 1 and 2 for me, and just staying wound up. I caught some of the guys that were doing just good enough up there where I couldn't, you know, get by and bog my momentum down, but got clear of them, and then I'm not sure what happened to the 11, but that worked out in our favor for sure. I don't think I would have gotten to him. Obviously, I would have gotten to 2nd probably, but it would have been tough to get to him, but that last run was a lot of fun. So thanks to Spire Motorsports, thanks to Rick Hendrick and HendrickCars.com for letting me come have some fun tonight. This was definitely fun. You learned a lot too, I think. So yeah, look forward to the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, the question everybody has now, how do we feel about the weekend sweep?
I don't know. Got to be guys like you, so that's going to be tough. But I don't know. I felt like the truck race was probably going to be the toughest to win. You know, just I'm not that experienced in them. The runs are typically shorter, and I feel like I need long runs like that last one to get going. So I feel better about Xfinity and Cup, but the competition just gets tougher and tougher as you're getting on in the weekend. So we'll see, but off to a good start, so we'll try.
Awesome. Congratulations, Kyle.
Yeah, guys, down here with Corey Heim, obviously had a super fast truck, the dominant truck all night. What did you have in the seat to be able to refire? Did you have any warning? But then also to talk about how fast this thing was tonight.
Yeah, just about, I don't know, 15, 20 to go. Everything seemed fine as far as what I could see. Just the engine would hard cut on me and the dash would go black. I'd have to pull my right hand over and fully recycle the power to get any sort of life back in the motor. So really don't know what the problem was, to be honest with you, but can't say enough about the Safe Life Tundra 2D Pro. Everyone at Shotgun Garage and Toyota did a phenomenal job. Probably the best truck I've ever had, really. So just stings pretty bad, obviously, but nothing I could really done about it.
Yeah, well, good run tonight. Obviously super strong. Back to you guys up in the booth.
Well, super unfortunate for Corey Heim, as we documented it all night long. He just had the dominant truck and was able to run that thing on the bottom of the racetrack, top of the racetrack, pretty much anywhere he wanted to go. Qualified on a pole, won both stages, and unfortunately, that stat still lives at Homestead. The pole winner and both stages still have not won the truck race here.
Let's go through the full classification for you at the end of the Baptist Health 200 at Homestead, Miami. Kyle Larson wins some lane rigs, and Corey Heim 07, 34 and 11. Tyler Ankrum, Daniel Hemrick, Ross Chastain 4th, 5th and 6th, 18, 19, 44. Jake Garcia in the 13 truck is 7th. Chandler Smith in the 38 truck is 8th, then Grant Enfinger in the 9 truck came home in 9th place. Caden Honeycutt, good recovery to 10th place after being up in the top 5 and then dropping back. Ty Majeski in the 98 truck in 11th place. Brandon Jones in the 1 truck finishes 12th. Matt Crafton 13th. Matt Mills 14th. Corey Day 15th. Stuart Friesen, unlucky for him, he was running 2nd for most of that race and up in that top 10, top 5, but he finishes 16th in the end. Tanner Gray in 17th. Stefan Parsons in 18th. Connor Mosak 19th. Luke Fenhouse 20th. Jack Wood 21st. Raja Karoof 22nd, Dawson Sutton 23rd, Frankie Muniz 24th, Andreas Perez de Lara in 25th, Tony Bradinger 26th, Nathan Bird 27th, Spencer Boyd 28th, Giovanni Ruggiero in 29th, Keith McGee in 30th, Michael Distia in 31st, Akinori Agata in 32nd, Ben Rhodes 33rd, and Stephen Malozzi in 34th, and last being the first retiree. Only 2 retirees, the 99 and the 2. That wraps it up here for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series here at Homestead, Miami. You can join us, well, you can join us now for the F1 Chinese Grand Prix Sprint Race. We are on air very shortly, if not on air already. Formation lap starts at 3 AM UK time, 11 PM EST, 8 PM PDT, and 4 AM in Europe. But for NASCAR, you can join us for the Cup Series. Practice and qualifying from 5 PM GMT, 1 PM Eastern. You can join us for the Xfinity race, 4 PM Eastern, 8 PM GMT, and then you can join us at 7 PM, and that is 3 PM Eastern for the build-up to the NASCAR Cup Series race on Sunday. Thank you for joining us. You will automatically be redirected to the F1 Chinese Sprint Race, where I will be heading over there as well. We hope you join us for the F1 Chinese Sprint and for the rest of the weekend. See you then.